This is the 2025 Ford F-150 FX4 with the hybrid powertrain. What are its features, what can it do, and can we even fit it onto our trails here at our Peninsula Proving Grounds? Well, we're going to find out right now on Driving Sports TV. This episode of Driving Sports TV is brought to you by Onyx Off-Road. Click the link below to save 20% off your new membership using the code DSTV. It was just last year in 2024 when the Ford F-150 received a mid-cycle refresh. It was at that time that we tested a Lariat trim, which is of course one of the upper options. Well, today we have a mid-trim, only they've loaded it up with so many extras, it's basically the same price as a Lariat. This comes standard with an upgraded B&O sound system with 8 speakers, a wireless charging pad, a power sliding rear window, the mobile office package, and LED side mirror lights. You also get chrome running boards, recovery hooks, a keyless entry, and even with all of that, it still has fabric seats. Yeah, that's right, fabric seats on the inside. Of course, to add a little extra spice, the model that we are testing today has been equipped with several options, including the retractable rear step, a bed utility package, bed liner, the 7.2 kilowatt Pro Power system, a twin panel moonroof, and the FX4 off-road package. Prices you see it here with a couple extra package discounts, $70,760 US, including destination. Of course, because of continuing unknowns around tariffs, that price might change. Under the hood is a 3.5-liter Powerboost V6. This is combined with an electric motor mounted in the 10-speed automatic transmission for a total system output of 430 horsepower and 570 pound-feet of torque. The optional four-wheel drive system is part-time with a dual-speed transfer case. EPA rates economy at 22 miles to the gallon in town and 24 on the highway. It is kind of unfortunate that even at this price, you don't get Ford's automatic four-wheel drive system. For that, you need to move all the way up to the Lariat. Our test truck here came with the optional 20-inch alloy wheels. Now these are obviously chromed out. They'll probably scratch very easy, so we have to watch for that. They are wrapped in the Pirelli Scorpion ATR trail tire. These have a 275/60 R20 fitment, and they should be fine for what we're doing today. With the Crew Max cab, you're looking at a wheelbase of 145 inches. In the back here, we get a soft fall gate. We also have a deployable step, which is pretty handy. Now the bed in this one is a 5.5 footer. You can of course get longer beds if you need them. This also comes standard with, because it is hybrid, this comes standard with the Pro Power system, which is 7.2 kilowatts of power right in the bed. I think one of the most useful features of in-bed power is of course the ability to use power tools anywhere you go. To me, one of the most compelling reasons to pick a full-size truck over a mid-size is the fact that you get so much space in the second row here. This can easily fit 3 adults, plus you can flip up the seat and you just have a ton of secured storage. I mean, I'm 6'1", legs torso proportionate. I have tons of room here, miles in front of my legs. I get vents, 12 volt, USB-C, and I also have an AC 20 amp power socket back here. So what can we do with that? You ever use power tools in the truck? Yeah, baby. Up front, we get a really nice, comfortable seat, a wrapped steering wheel, lots of controls and easy access. We do get physical buttons and dials for the aircon, which is great. Plus we also have push buttons for the seat warmers. Easy access, I love that. We don't have to dive into the screen. Now the screen does have a lot of great features because of course this is running Ford's Sync 4 software. We get music, including XM satellite radio. Navigation is built in and it actually is very responsive. I do like this a lot. And of course it also supports wireless Android Auto as well as Apple CarPlay. And that brings me to the sponsor of this video, Onyx Off-Road. We love Onyx Off-Road for planning our off-road adventures. Which trails to drive? How hard are they? Are they even open? Onyx Off-Road provides all that information in addition to tools to help plan and organize your next adventure. Have you watched one of our mini road trip videos? We use Onyx Off-Road to plan and navigate every adventure. And right now you can get 20% off your premium or elite membership to Onyx Off-Road with the code DSTV. That's of course an abbreviation for Driving Sports TV. Look for the link in the video description below or click this QR code. Another great feature that Onyx has added recently is dispersed camping maps. That's right, when you're looking at maps in the wilderness, it'll actually tell you where you can just camp on the side of the road. Very handy for those of you that want to, take a trip across the US and you don't want to plan in advance. So other features that they've integrated here include a lot of deep vehicle integration that you just don't get with a lot of other trucks. I can go into zone lighting here and pick out what I want for my exterior lighting to be on. That's great for campsites. And then also I have control over my Pro Power system. Now Pro Power is of course what they call the onboard generator, and it's made possible simply because this is a hybrid, and that hybrid has to produce a lot of power. And the side effect of that is that you can have really powerful AC outlets. So what do you want to do with your power outlets? Maybe you want to drive and drill. It's pulling up to 230 watts. Now, is it illegal to use power tools and drive? I don't know, but it probably should be. Now, as for the rest of this vehicle, we got the B&O sound system, which is really nice. We have a beautiful digital gauge cluster. I really like Ford's digital gauge cluster software. It is really easy to configure. You get lots of data, and it changes depending on your drive mode, which is kind of neat. Now, the drive modes down here, you can just simply go between everything from sport, eco, to towing, to normal, to slippery, to off-road, to rock crawl. And with each of those settings, it'll actually set up the four-wheel drive system to the optimal condition. Now, of course, if I want to set up my own four-wheel drive modes or enable or disable that rear locker, I can do so manually. I don't have to use the drive modes for it. But I think most people will probably just access it via the drive modes. Now, of course, we also do have a brake controller here for towing, because a lot of people buy F-150s for towing. And then we have one final thing, which is very unique to this vehicle. We have a fold-down desk. Now, of course, this is an option, and I love it. If you're working on a job site, or just you're in the field, or you just have time on your lunch break and you need a space to work, this is great. Put your notebook here, sign contracts here, very easy, and you still have access to an absolutely massive storage bin. Right, so right now we're going to take this out onto the street. We're going to see how it drives. We're also going to do a 0 to 60 test, and then we're going to bring it back here to our Peninsula Proving Grounds to see how trail capable is a full-size F-150 here in 2025. Let's do it. Okay, we're going onto the street, so I'm going to go into 2 high, shift into progress. We're just going to keep it in normal mode. Let's go. Woo! Takes a moment, not bad. But let's see what this can do with a 0 to 60. I'm gonna go ahead and switch the drive mode into sport. Now, this isn't a scientific test. We're on a little bit of a slope, but this is also where I test all the 0 to 60s and have for the last couple months. So anything current or recent, these numbers should jive. Okay, I'm just going to basically hit throttle. 3, 2, 1, go. Took some moment. Whoa, then it kicks in. 30, 40, 50, 60. 5.38 seconds. For a truck this big, I think that's actually pretty good. I mean, nobody, I think, is going to be disappointed with the performance. And I love what Ford has done with this hybrid system, basically proving to the world that hybrid is more than just about economy. It's also about flexibility. Giving us 7.2 kilowatts of onboard power is brilliant, and I'm glad to see that other car makers have followed. Specifically, Toyota offering 2,400 watts now in a number of their vehicles. I think Ford really kind of showed other manufacturers the way when it comes to putting hybrids in trucks. And, if you're rejecting a hybrid in a truck because of, I don't know, it doesn't seem manly enough to you, I gotta tell you, you're missing out. You really are. Because not only are you cutting emissions, but you also have just tremendous amount of power at your toe tips, in addition to the flexibility of having basically a mobile power station. How cool is that? Now, as far as the F-150 goes, in general, this is a very nice riding truck. It's very comfortable, even with the fabric seats. And actually, these fabric seats are kind of nice. They feel like they would be very durable. They're fairly comfortable. I have no problems with them. I got lots of power adjustments, and of course I also have heat as well. Would I prefer a nicer fabric, even a synthetic leather? Personally, yes. But I know not everybody's into that, so at least Ford gives you options. So visibility, quite good. It is a very glassed in kind of cab, and I feel like you can really see just everything. And I like how Ford cuts down the side of the door so you can also see down here. That's just really a nice touch. And it really speaks to the overall safety package that they do include with this. You get collision mitigation, blind spot warning, you get a great surround view camera, you get rear cross traffic alerts, and of course, this also has adaptive cruise control with not only lane centering, but it also has a hands-free mode called Blue Cruise. Now, unfortunately, where I live, we don't have any geofenced highways that are even near where I'm at. So I can't show you Blue Cruise, but I have used Blue Cruise before, and I gotta tell you, it is an excellent system for basically cruising hands-free across the interstate. Now, as far as regular adaptive cruise control, let's give it a try. I'm just gonna turn it on here. I get my little number down there. Again, hit one button and it activates, which I really like. Some manufacturers require you to turn it on and then set the speed. I don't get the point of those extra steps. And then I can enable and disable lane keep as I like. Now, for sake of example, I'm gonna go ahead and take my hands off, and you can see that it's tracking right down the middle of the lanes, no problem at all. So obviously a very good system, especially because you can do full hands-free with it. So you would hope that in hands-on mode, it would also be good, and it is. One of my biggest criticisms with Ford's trucks is that they still adhere to leaf springs for most of their models. And leaf springs can be very boingy when you don't have a payload. The great thing about leaf springs is they do handle payloads really well. You can get not only a real high maximum payload, but it absorbs it and still provides decent handling even under load. Coil springs, which Toyota has moved over to with the Tundra, give you a more consistent drive. They basically drive the same whether you have payload or not, but you pay the price in overall maximum payload. So there's a little give, there's a little take. I don't know the maximum payload of this exact F-150, and it would be kind of fruitless for me to tell you what the maximum is because they make so many different configurations of the Ford. You pretty much have to pick out a configuration that'll meet your specific towing needs. But I mean, 10,000 plus, yeah, you can do that with an F-150. And for towing, you can also use the Pro Trailer dial, which you can use as a steering aid for backing up a trailer. You do have to put a sticker on your trailer for it to be able to identify the cornering. So if you use a number of different trailers, maybe that's not going to work. But if you have like one trailer and you aren't great at backing in, that's actually a really great, helpful tool. Over the tiny bridge, yeah, this feels like a big truck. But the ride's actually pretty nice. It is a little bouncy, which I kind of expect with leaf springs without a payload, but you know, it's really not bad. This is super comfortable. Like I see why people like the F-150. The tech is good, the ride is good. You do pay a lot for some of the more advanced and luxury options, but at least they're options, you know? If you want a base truck, you can still get that. This being a mid-trim with a whole bunch of different options, yeah, we're priced up to around 70 grand, and it's really easy to do that with pretty much any full-size truck. So you might be wondering what this little thing is over here. There's a little, like what appears to be a transmitter. When I put a camera on it, you see two little dots flickering. You don't actually see those with your eyes, but cameras pick them up. And that's actually monitoring my eyes to make sure that my eyes are on the road, and that's part of the Blue Cruise system. One of the things with all of the hands-free driving systems is they want to make sure that you're still paying attention to the road, because these are not fully autonomous. They are hands-free, but not fully autonomous. Even Tesla's system is not fully autonomous. So they have to have little monitors because frankly, they don't trust humans. And given our history, I can see why. Right, well, we've driven on the street. It's very nice, very comfortable. I see why people really like these. The XLT trim is a pretty nice package, but honestly, for the money, just go up to Lariat. And yeah, with the street drive now coming to a close, we're gonna take this out to our Peninsula Proving Grounds, where we're gonna check out the trail capabilities of this truck. Okay, now that we're on gravel, we can just move the drive mode over to off-road. It'll then switch up to 4 high, and oddly enough, it actually locks the rear diff, which I don't want, so I'm gonna turn that off right now. And here we go. Got a nice front view camera. Oh yeah, making it easy. So for our first test, we are going to dip into the fun forest. Because I was already in off-road mode, I don't have to switch my drive mode. I'm in 4 high. It backs off traction control a little bit. And of course it did engage the rear locker, but I didn't want that, so I turned it off. So we're in off-road mode, no rear locker. Now, normally we need about 8 inches of ground clearance. This has around 9.5 inches to get over this first berm. But with a long wheelbase, how's that gonna hit? Okay, no problem. So we are in 4 high, and it is a little surgy, to be honest. So even though I would prefer 4 low in this situation, I'm basically sticking to the drive modes because that's what I think most people who buy this truck would probably be doing. Now we might lift a wheel here, but I'm not sure if we are. Trucks usually have pretty good articulation, plus this wheelbase definitely mixes things up a bit. I'm gonna just drive up here and get down into the ditch by the dead tree. Get as close as we can without rubbing. Watch for that articulation in the back. Gonna dip down. Oop. I guess we ran over some branches there. And then go up. Yeah, obviously no problem. It does feel, of course, big, because it is a big truck. Oh, yep, got a little brake vectoring kicking in there to help move us forward. That's nice. And then down we go. Well, that was a good start. Now let's do something a little bit more challenging. So I think at this point, we're gonna go over to our rock garden and see how well this crawls. So this is what we call our rock slide course. It is kind of a steep climb down some gravel and boulders, and then it's going to lead us into the mogul course, which is on the Ridgeline Trail. Settings, let's go ahead and move drive mode over to rock crawl. It will request me to put it into neutral, so we can go into 4 low. There we go. It did lock the rear differential because it wanted to. That's going to make both rear wheels move at the same rate. We don't have to wait for any slipping because of brake vectoring kicking in or anything like that. And of course we have our front view trail camera. What other views do we got here? We have that, we have side views, back views. We can see sides. Let's do front, I think. Okay. Into drive, and let's ease down. Now I'm going to use the wheel tracks here to try to get this aligned. I want my right wheels on the boulders and my left wheels on the gravel. Oh, yeah, those sideboards. We rubbed. Well, we're in it now. Don't usually take vehicles this large on this course, but I have taken the Silverado on this the other direction. Listen for any scraping. Found it. Oh man, I don't know if we have the dimensions to get through this. Let's get out and see what this is doing. Okay, what do we got? Have I made a bad error by bringing this out on this course? I might have. Let's see, park. It's down there. Okay, great. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna have to put a rock under the wheel to lift that up. It's not gonna work otherwise. Let's see, where's a big boulder I can get? Okay, at this point, we're just gonna try to get through this. That rise on the left is just too much for it. So, I'm gonna put this here, which should give us a step, which should lift this side of the vehicle, and then hopefully we don't hit the nose again. We should lift. Let's see if we're lifting high enough. Okay, now the next question is are we gonna have the brake over? Or are we gonna rub? We do have an extra underbody protection because it's the FX4 package. Don't wanna hit anything hard if we hit it. Now we're gonna lift that rear wheel on the same obstacle. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we got through it. Let's see. Woohoo! That wasn't so bad, just needed one rock to get us through that. Well, now let's see how this does on the mogul course. So here we got some ditches, which is gonna move us side to side, really test that articulation. Whoa, we're tipping. Just a little throttle from 4 low, and yeah, it just eases us forward. Okay, wheel goes down in the ditch over there. Are we gonna rub? No, nope, there we go, cool. Now we got a little side to side action. And again, with this 145-inch wheelbase, how are the wheels going to hit the ditches? Are we gonna scrape because of breakover? Maybe. Keep the wheel tracking right through the ditch there. And of course, because we have that rear diff locked, it's just gonna keep pushing us forward so long as one of those rear wheels is on the ground. All right, sand slide. We're gonna climb up the side here. This is a very sandy surface, but it is compact. Still have that rear locker engaged, so we should have no problem getting through this. Ditch in the front. Yeah, no problem at all. Now on the right, you might see that we're building a new Jeep trail. That's not quite ready yet, so obviously we're not taking this down it. And actually, this thing, it is very limited in terms of capabilities simply because it's just a very large vehicle. This is not what I would take into the mountains here in the Pacific Northwest. It's just simply too big. The wheelbase too long, the approach angle not good enough. Breakover, let's not even talk about that. And that's okay, you know, that's why they make like vehicles like the Raptor. This is not an adventure vehicle. This is a vehicle that has decent enough off-road capability to take it onto dirt roads, to go onto trails, but not anything that's really that complicated. It's more for farm use, I would say, or, you know, ice and snow than it really is complicated off-road trails. And that's okay. Ford makes a wide range of vehicle. This is okay in this situation, but it's not my first choice. However, in terms of a vehicle that's loaded with towing features, it's very comfortable. You could basically drive this thing all day, every day, and be totally good. You know, the F-150, I think, really delivers. Now, how does it compare versus the Silverado and the Tundra, or even the GMC Twin? This category, I think, has pretty much nailed it at this point. All of them offer something a little bit different. So what it really comes down to is what kind of features and options that you want. I love the Ford Pro Power system. I think it is very unique in the category. It's even better than the Toyota system because this one is grounded in a way. My understanding is that you can actually plug a house into it, whereas the 2400 watts on the Toyota vehicles cannot. And I'm not going to say it's a problem because how often do you need to do that, but I like options, I like features. I feel like this one just kind of one-ups everybody else with its hybrid powertrain. However, if that doesn't excite you for whatever reason, you got lots of options. This one is just another good one. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share videos. We make them for you. Hope you enjoy them. I hope you enjoyed this test drive with the new Ford F-150 XLT. Yeah, and for that, thanks for watching. We'll see you again right here on the next video.